Hey, what's up? Welcome to this new video. This one is paper 1 of October-November 2006. That is of course for A-level math. With that being said, let's move on to question number 1. So here we have to find the coefficient of x squared in this expansion. Again, coefficient of x squared is, for example, if you have ax squared, the value we need to give is just the value in the beginning. So let's first find the term in x squared. For example, here, if you were to expand this, you will do 6, choose something, the first term is x, and then here we have plus 2 over x. Now we have to choose the power here. So what power can I choose so that I can have x squared as my term? Now by trial and error, we can observe that if you choose 4 here, this will have to be 4. Again, this and this will always match. And then 6 minus 2, I think this is wrong. It should be 4 here and 2 here. My apologies. If you choose 2 here, this will have to be 2. 6 minus 2 will be 4. Because again, we need the term in x squared. So let's see what can we do. Again, I was saying that we have to do this by trial. Okay, so first thing, 6 choose 2 will be 15. X power 4 is x power 4. 2 power 2 is 4 over the value of x squared. Now as we simplify, you can see this and this will cancel out to be 2. You'll have 60 x power 2. But your answer just needs to be the coefficient of x squared, which is only this one. So 60 will be your answer for this question. Now let's move on to the next question. Here we have to, given that x is equal to this, which means sine x is equal to 2 over 5. Now we know by definition, sine of an angle is what? It is the opposite side over the hypotenuse, right? Now if you were to draw a right angle triangle, for example, right? This is 90 here, this is the angle x, for example. So opposite side will be 2, hypotenuse will be 5. So we can find this side by the Pythagoras theorem. That will be what? That will be root 5 square minus 2 square, 25 minus 4, root of 21, right? 25 minus 4 should be 21, that will be 21. So root of 21 will be this side. Now from this triangle, we can derive the other values that we need. For example, what is cos of x? Cos of x is defined by the a side, which is this one, over the hypotenuse. And what is the tan of x? Should be the opposite side over the a side. So obviously now we know all these values, we can just find that pretty easily. Cos square, square this, that should be 21 over 25. Tan square, square this as well, that should be 4 over 21. That is your answer for the question regarding trigonometry. Let's move on to the next question. So in this diagram, we have OAB is a sector of a circle, center O, with radius 12. 12 and 12, they are the radius. Now, the point A lies on the side CD, right here, and of the rectangle OCDB. This is the rectangle. Okay, so if this is 12, this also will be 12, the length of CD. It is a rectangle. Now, the angle OAB is 1/3. Here you go. Express the area of the shaded region in form of this, stating the values of a and b. Now again, a and b, they are integers. Integers means whole numbers. So how would you find the area of that region? So let's think. To find the area of this region, we have to kind of find the area of the whole thing, and then minus this and that, right? So what is the area of the whole thing? Of the whole thing, it is area of rectangle, right? So right now we obviously cannot find the area because we only know the length, we don't know the width, but we can find this obviously. Now given that this is a rectangle, this have to be 90, 90, 90, 90. This is 1 over 3 pi. Again, if you were to convert this to degrees, what is that? 1/3 times 180. This is 180 degrees. That should be what? Should be 60 degrees. Now if this is 60 degrees, what is the value of this angle? 90 minus 60, that should be 30. Right. Now, obviously, if we can see this here, we have a right angle triangle. We know this side, this is my H side. It is right opposite the right angle, my H side. I'm trying to find this side, my A side, so we have to use cos. So cos of the angle have to be my A side, which is CO, over the value of 12. So this will be what? This is the exact value of root 3 over 2, have to be CO over 12. We can divide by 2, 1, that should be 6. Then cross multiply should be 6 root 3 will be CO. So this length here will be 6 root 3. So now we can find the area of the rectangle. That should be length times width. So 6 times 12 will be 72. Let's check. It is 72. 72 root 3 will be the area of the whole thing. Now obviously we don't need this area and this area. How would you find the area of sector? Half r square theta, the angle, 1/3 this. That should be what? Half times 12 pi. So yeah, half times 12 square. That should be 72 times 1 over 3. That should be 24 pi for the area of sector. Now we also don't need the area of this triangle. How would you find the area of triangle? We will use half times base times base times height. Because it is a right angle triangle, because of that we can use this formula. Now we know this one, we have to find the base. Again, we can use SOHCAHTOA. We know this side, we know this 12, we want to find this side, we can use sine. Sine of the angle 30 has to be the opposite side, which is CA, over 12. So from this, CA will have to be sine 30 is half times 12 will be 6. That should be 6. So finally, that should be half times base times height. That should be 3 here, 3 here. That should be 18 root 3. So the area of the triangle is 18 root 3, and this is 24 pi. So finally, the area of the region we are trying to find as exact values should be what? Should be the whole thing minus the area of the sector and minus the area of this one. So here we have the same thing, we can minus them. 72 minus 18, that should be 54. So here we have 54 root 3 minus 24 pi. Now we have to try to make this look like this. Okay, so what can we do? Here by comparing, here we have a root 3 minus b pi. So value of a should be 54 and b should be 24. These are integer values shown as required for this question in relation to circular measure. Let's move on to the next question. The points, the position vector of A and B are as follows, which means OA is given by this and OB is given by this. Now, part 1, find the angle AOB. So pretty easy. From O, we look outside. From O, we look outside. So here we have OA and OB. That will be scalar product of OA minus 3, 6, and 3 dot OB minus 1, 2, and 4 equal to the magnitude of OA, which is 9. 3 squared is 9 plus 36 plus 9. That should be 54. And OB should be 1 plus 4 plus 16. That should be 21. Cos of the angle in between. Now obviously pretty easy. So minus 3 times minus 1 should be 3. Plus 2 times 6 should be 12. Plus 12. That should be 27. Divided by root of 54. Root of 21. Cos of angle O. So 27 divided by root of 54 times root of 21. That should be this value. So cos inverse of that value should be, from this, angle O was found to be 36.7 degrees, correct to 1 decimal place. Now part 2, the point C is such that we have this equation. Find the unit vector in the direction of a OC. So first we have to find OC, right? So here we have AC is given by 3 times AB. We must first find AB. So AB by definition is going to be OB minus OA. Now OB is given to you by what? By minus 1, 2, 4. OA is given to you by minus 3, 6, 3. That should be what? Minus 1 minus minus 3. That should be 2. 2 minus 6 should be minus 4. And that should be 1. Okay, that should be AB. So AC should be 3 times AB should be 6 minus 12 and 3. That should be my value for AC. Now by definition, AC is simply OC minus OA. That should be this, same thing. And finally from this I can find out, obviously, OC will be 6 minus 12, 3, plus the value of OA, which is right here, minus 3, 6, 3. 6 minus 3 will be 3. That should be minus 6 and 6. That is AC, OC. Now obviously we have to find the unit vector in the direction of OC. So that is equal to OC divided by its magnitude. So OC is OC, 3 minus 6, 6. Magnitude will be root of 3 squares 9 plus 36 plus 36. Let's see, what does that give us? That should be 81. That should be same thing, 3 minus 6, 6 divided by root of 81, which is 9. Simplify, divide by 3. You will have 1 over 3 times 1 minus 2, 2. That should be the unit vector in the direction of OC. And that will be your question in regards to vectors. Let's move on to the next question. So the 3 points A, B, and C are shown in the diagram. Okay, great. A, B, and C. Now the perpendicular from C to AB, meet at point D. This is the meeting point. Now part 1, we have to find the equation of CD. So CD is this line. How can we find this? To find the equation of a straight line, we need to first find its gradient. So gradient of CD, we have to first find the gradient of AB. Because they are perpendicular, we can form an relationship to find the gradient of CD. So gradient of AB first, it is going to be y1, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That should be 8 over 12. That should be divided by 4. You have 2 over 3. From this, we can find out the gradient of CD have to be minus 3 over 2 because they are perpendicular to each other. Now we have the gradient, we have a passing point, we can find the equation. So passing point is 6, 15. My x value, my y value, so y minus its corresponding value over x minus 6 have to equal to the gradient. Now again, this is just a method for me to find the equation of a straight line. If you guys know other method, if you have the gradient and the passing point, you guys should be okay. Now cross multiply, you have 2y minus 30 minus 3x plus 18. Now 2y has to be minus 3x plus 18 plus 30. 2y equal to minus 3x plus 48. So that will be my equation of CD. Now again, if you want to make y become subject, you can always do that. It is up to you. Now for part 2, find the point D. As you can see, the point D is a point of intersection between the line CD and AB. So we also have to find the equation of AB. So AB, we know the gradient of AB was found to be 2 over 3. The passing point, let's choose this point A, which is 1, 3. My x value here, my y value here, so y minus 3 over x minus 1 has to be 2 over 3. Again, this is just a method to find the equation of a straight line. Cross multiply, you have 3y minus 9 equal to 2x minus 2. So 3y has to be 2x minus 2 plus 9 should be plus 7, right? So this is my equation of AB. AB, and that is CD. Now the point D is a point of intersection, so we have to solve the equation simultaneously, right? So let's see which one do you want to make them become subject, and then we can solve one by one. So for the first one, I can make y become subject. It will be 2x plus 7 divided by 3. Now replace the y in this y. You will have 2. Y is also 2x plus 7 over 3 equal to minus 3x plus 48. Now, to remove this 3, I can multiply by 3 everywhere. It will become 2 times this will be 4x plus 14 equal to minus 9x plus 48 times 3 is what? Let's see. That should be 144 as my value over here. Send this over here and this over here. So that will be 13x equal to 144 minus 14. That should be 130. X should be 10. From this, we can find the value of y. Y replaced back in here. You have 2 times 10. 27 divided by 3, that should be 9. So the point of intersection D should be 10 and 9. This is solved simultaneously. This is your question in regards to coordinates geometry. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So find the sum of all the integers between 100 and 400 that are divisible by 7. Okay, so one by one. How can we find this? So pretty interesting question. For example, what are the integers between 100 and 400? We have 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, and so on, right? Now we have to find what is the first integer in this list that is divisible by 7. Let's check. 101 divided by 7. Nope, not exact. 102 divided by 7. Nope. 7. Nope. Nope. 105 divided by 7. Yes, so this is the first term right here. So we have to begin with 105. It is divisible by 7. So every time we are just increasing by 7. So 105 plus 7, that will be 112. Increase by 7 should be 119, 126. Obviously, you can always go like this until 400 and add them together, but it will not be advised because it would just take too long, right? So at least we know the first term in this list will be a equal to 105, and the common difference is equal to the value of 7, right? Now, what is the last term of this progression? 400. What is before 400? We have 400. We have 399. We have 398. 397. So let's check. 397 divided by 7. Nope. 398 divided by 7. Nope. 399 divided by 7. Yes. This one works exactly. So this is the last term. So going on until the 399. Now, we have to find out which term is this. The last term. So term last term is equal to 399. What is the term that has happened? So again, this will be an arithmetic progression because we are increasing by 7 equally at every time. So by using our equation that we know, or they are given to you as well, the nth term is given to you by a plus n minus 1 times d. So here we don't know the nth term, so that should be a is 105 plus n minus 1, we don't know, right? D is 7, supposed to be 399. So 7 n minus 1 should be 399 minus 105, that should be 294. N minus 1 equal to divided by 7, that should be 42. So finally, that should be 43. So the term will be 43 when this happens. So this is the first term, second term, third, fourth, bam, 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 until the 43rd term. So the question is not that. The question is we want to find the sum of all the integers in this list. So we want to find the sum of the first 43 terms in that progression. That will be half times 43, 2a, 2 times 105, plus n is 43 minus 1 times d. Again, this is a formula given to you for the sum of the first n terms. 2 times 105 plus 42 times 7 divided by 2 times 43. That should be 10836. Let's try again. Begin from the inside, so 2 times 105 plus 42 times 7 times half is divided by 2 and times 43. That should be the same value. So this is the sum of all the terms that we have between this and this divisible by 7. Let's move on to part B. The first three terms in a geometric progression is this, this, and this. So the first three terms, so a has to be 144, and then that's it we know for now, where x is a positive value. So let me write this down. So we know that the first term is 144, and then we have x, and then we have 64. Right. Now, part 1, find the value of x. So something is missing here is we need to find the common ratio. Now we know that to find the next term, we always have to multiply by a common ratio, and same thing for this as well. So we can form an equation now. So we have 144 multiplied by r has to give you x, but x multiplied by r have to give you 64. So here we have two equations we can solve simultaneously. X is this, so we replace x by this. 144 r squared has to be 64. R has to be 64 over 144. R has to be root of 64 over 144. That should be root of 64 is 8, and that should be 12, right? Root of 144 is 12. Divided by 4, you will have 2 over 3. This is my value for R. Now we have to find the value of x. X will be 144 times 2 over 3. That should be 96. 96 will be your value of x. Now let's move on. Part 2. We have to find the sum to infinity of the progression. So sum to infinity should be a over 1 minus r. This is again a formula given to you as well. You don't need to memorize, it will be in your list. Now a is the value of first term 144 over 1 minus r is the common ratio. So 144 divided by 1 minus 2 over r. That should be 432. This is part 2 of the question. This is a question in relation to series. Now let's move on to question number 7. The diagram shows the curve y equal to this, okay, great, which crosses the x-axis at the point O, the point A, and the point B, as shown in this diagram. Right. Now part 1, the tangents to the curve at A and B, they meet at the point C, find C. So we have a tangent at the point A and B. So tangent here will be simply a line, for example. It could be a line in this direction. Tangent at B should be something in this direction. They meet here, and this is your point C. So again, this is a point of intersection, so we have to find the point C by solving a simultaneous equation. But first, we must first find the equation of tangent of B and tangent of A, and then joining them at C by solving them simultaneously. Again, one by one. You have to find the tangents. So to find the equation of straight line, we must first find gradient of the lines. So begin one by one. So here we know y is this. So let's expand. Y is equal to what? That will be x squared minus x multiplied by x minus 2. Expand, you will have x cubed minus 2x squared minus x squared plus 2x. That will be, so let's see, what do we have finally. So here we have x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x. This is my value of y. Now I do understand that to find the gradient of the curve at any point, we have to find dy by dx. Or gradient of tangent is dy by dx, as we know already. I mean, you guys should make a note of this. The gradient of tangent on a curve is dy by dx. That should be 3x squared minus 6x plus 2. This is dy by dx, right? Now, we have to find the equation of TA first. We have to find the gradient of the line TA first. That will be dy by dx at the point A, where the value of x is equal to 1. Simplify, you have 3 times 1 minus 6 times 1 plus 2. That should be 3 minus 6 plus 2. That should be what? 3 minus 6 plus 2, that should be the value of minus 1. So the gradient at the point A is minus 1, and we have a passing point A is equal to 1, 1. So passing point A is 1, so 1, 0. This is my x value, my y value. So I have to use the passing point and the gradient to find the equation of the line. That'll be y minus 0 is y over x minus 1 equal to the gradient. We can cross multiply. You will have what? You will have y is equal to 1 minus x. So my line here for t of A, tangent of A at the point A is y equal to 1 minus x. So now same thing, we have to go find the equation of tangent of B. So the gradient of tangent B is what? It is 3. At the point of B is x equal to 2. 3 times 4 minus 12 plus 2. So 12 minus 12 plus 2, that should be 2. Now we have a passing point, which is the point 2, 0. So here we have minus 1, this is 2, so that is the x value, y value. Y minus 0 is y over x minus 2 is equal to the value of 2. Cross multiply, you will have what? You should have y is equal to 2x minus 4. That will be my equation of my line or my tangent at B. Now again, to find the point C, that's the main goal here. We understand that these two lines intersect at the point C. Now to find the point of intersection, we have to solve the equations simultaneously. Let me write these two down. The first one is y equal to 1 minus x. Here we have y equal to 2x minus 4. Equation number 1, equation number 2, they meet, so we have to solve simultaneously. Here we have y as subject already. Replace in this y, you will have 1 minus x equal to 2x minus 4. Send this over here, you will have 5 equal to 3x. X will be 5 over 3. Y should be 1 minus 5 over 3, and that will be what? Let's see. That should be 3 minus 5 over 3. That should be minus 2 over 3. The point C will be 5 over 3 and minus 2 over 3. Okay, so that should be the value that we have for this point. Now let's move on to the next question. So part 2, we have to show by integration the area of R1 is the same as the area of R2. So pretty easy. Let's find one by one. I actually want to check if this is okay. Let me replace here. 2 times 5 over 3 minus 4 should be minus 2 over 3. Okay, good, perfect. Now this one is we have to find these two areas separately, and then we can compare if they're the same or not. So to find R1, it is area between the point here is 0. The point A here is 1, 0. This is 1. Limits is 0 to 1. Let's find R1 first. So to find R1, again, it is area under curve should be limits of 1, 0, as we can see right here. And the equation of the curve was found to be this, x squared plus 2x, respect to dx. Now we just have to simplify. That will give you x power 4 over 4 minus x power 3 minus, this will be, this was cancelled out, 3 divided by 3. This will also cancel out. You will have x squared. And this will be limits between the values of 1 and 0. So simplify. 1 will be 1 over 4 minus 1 minus 1. And then minus the value of 1. So let's see, what do we get? So this one's supposed to be kind of strange, but let me double check. So here we have x power 4 divided by 4 minus 3x squared plus 1 divided by 3 minus, fair enough. And then here we have 2, this will go away, fair enough. Now this obviously will be minus 0 for the rest. So here we have 1 over 4 minus 1 minus 1. That should be minus, this is plus 1. See mistake here, plus 1. So this will cancel out, so you will have 1 over 4 as your answer for area of R1. So you can see, please avoid silly mistakes. You have to always double check your value at the end. This is the area of R1. Now for R2, let's find out. Same steps. Limits is from 1 till B. Here is what? It is 2, 0. That will be 2. Limits is 1, 2. So 2 up, 1 here. Same steps. X cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x respect to dx. That will be x power 4 over 4 minus x cubed plus x squared. That will be 2, 1. Simplify. That should be 2 power 4 divided by 4, that should be 4, minus 2 power 3 should be 8, and then plus the value of 4. That's the first part. Minus, here we have 1 over 4 minus 1 plus 1. That should be 0. Minus here, that is 1 over 4, and that will be 0. Again, the value here is minus 1 over 4, but for the area, obviously, it is just 1 over 4. The reason why it is minus is because the area is below the x-axis. That's why it is minus, negative. However, the area, we don't have a sign value for area. Area is area, right? We don't take sign for area. Area is this whole thing. That should be 1 over 4, and this is also 1 over 4. So as shown as required, R1 is equal to the value of R2 by integration. And that will be this question in regards to some integration and some differentiation. Let's move on to the next question. Here we have the equation of a curve is y equal to this. We have to find the gradient of the curve at the point this. Now again, the gradient of the curve is simply dy by dx. So we know this is also 6, 5 minus 2x, power minus 1. So dy by dx could be found by 6 is only a multiple, will be outside. First multiplied by the power should be minus 1. 5 minus 2x, then minus 1 to the power should be minus 2, then multiplied by d by dx, of the value inside should be minus 2. That will be 12 over 5 minus 2x squared. This is dy by dx. Add the value of this. Replace 1 here, so 5 minus 2 should be 3. 3 squared is 9. That will be 12 over 9. That should be 4 over 3. So the gradient at the point x equal to 1 is 4 over 3. We found this by first finding dy by dx and then replacing the value of x by 1. That is part 1 of the question. Now part 2, a point with the coordinates x and y moves along the curve in such a way that the rate of increase of y is this. So dy by dt is equal to 0.02. Find the rate of increase of y. So we have to find dx by dt. This has to be dx on top. Here we have dt at the bottom. And they both have to be related by something, which is dy in this case. Now dy by dt we know already. That is 0.02. So we have to find dx by dy. So at the value of this, we know that dy by dx at this value is equal to 4 over 3. However, dx by dy, we just have to reverse this, will be 3 over 4. So replace back in the main equation, that should be 3 over 4 times 0.02. That should be 0.015. This is the rate of increase of x. We have to, of course, we can write units per second. That will be part 2 of the question. Now for part 3, the region between the curve, the x-axis, and the lines, this and this, is rotated through 360 about the x-axis. Now again, about, we have to know this, about x-axis rotation, we are using this formula right here, which is integration this y squared with respect to dx. Now we have x, this will become y. Now, y was found to be 6 over 5 minus 2x. So y squared have to be 36 over 5 minus 2x squared. Now we can of course just rewrite this. Limits will be what? Between the values of x equal to 0 and 1. This will be 1, 0. Pi is pi. Y squared is 36. Send this up. That will be 5 minus 2x power minus 2 dx. Now we can take these two values up because they are just constants. That will be multiples. That will be this 1, 0, and we have 5 minus 2x power minus 2 respect to dx. So one by one, 36 pi, then we have this one. First increase the power by 1 should become minus 1. then divide by the same power, then divide by dx of this value inside should be minus 2. Of course, the limit is 1, 0. So let's see what do we have. We have here, that should be 2. 2, that will be 18. So we have 18 pi over the value of 5 minus 2x. Okay, so again, this will be between the limits of 1, 0. 18 pi can be just outside, no big deal. And then we have inside, we have 1 over 5 minus 2 should be 3 minus 1 over the value of 5. So 1 over 3 minus 1 over 5 should be this, times 18 should be this. Should be 2.4 pi. And 2.4 is simply what? 2 over 5 pi. If you simplify, 2 times 5 is 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 over 5 pi. And this is shown as required. That is your question in relation to units cubed for the volume. There will be we have a few differentiation, but as well as integration towards the end. Let's move on to the next question. The diagram shows an open container constructed out of 200 centimeter cube of cardboard. Okay. The two vertical end pieces are isosceles triangles with sides of 5x, 5x, and 8x, as we can see here. Okay. The two sides pieces are rectangles of length y and width 5x. This and width 5x makes sense. Now, the open top is open, so we don't have anything on top. It is a horizontal rectangle. Okay, great. Now, part 1. We have to show y is equal to this. Okay, so how can we show y is equal to that value? So we have to find something that we have in common. So something we know here is that we use that much, or that for the cardboard we use that much to form this shape. So the area of all these pieces needs to add up to this. So the total area have to be 200. That's the main equation. So let me find one by one, and we can add this up to this value. So we can use this to derive this equation. So one by one, we have this side. How can you find this area? So obviously we can just break this down into half. Because it is a, how you would call this, an isosceles triangle, this needs to be 4 here and 4 here, 4x, 4x, right? This is 5, this will be what? We can find this by, this is 90 here. This should be found by using the Pythagoras theorem. So let's find this. That will be pretty easy. So we have 5x squared have to be 4x squared plus the value of, let's call this y squared. Let's call it z squared. We don't know the value. So z squared will be what? Will be 25x squared minus 16x squared. That should be 9x squared. So finally z have to be 3x. This is 3x. Again, this value is the perpendicular height of the triangle. How do you find the area of triangle? It is half times base. The base is the whole thing here, 8x, and times the perpendicular height, which is 3x. That should be 4 here, so 12x squared for the area of this triangle. Now, because we have two triangles, this and this, multiply by 2, have 24x squared. So these are the two triangles. Now, we have this side and the side in the back. So this is a rectangle and two rectangles. So two rectangles times. So we have to find the area of the rectangle. It is length times the width. Y times 5x. So here we have 10xy for the two sides of the rectangles. Now we just have to add everything together to form our equation. So I hope that was kind of helpful. At least you understood how we can derive that equation. So we have 10xy plus 24x squared is equal to 200. Now we have 10xy is equal to 200 minus 24x squared. Now we can simplify. We can just, y should be 200 minus 24x squared divided by 10. 10x obviously, but 10x. So again, this you can see, this is exactly shown as required, right here. So shown as required. That is part 1 of the question. Now part 2, we have to show the volume V is given by this. Now how do you find the volume of a prism? We find the area of this side and times the length to find the volume of the prism. So volume of prism, it is the area of cross surface, which is area of triangle, that is 24x squared, and times the length, which is y. That will be 24x squared multiplied by y is 200 minus 24x squared over the value of 10x. So simplify. This and this will cancel out. We can divide by, well, let's just wait at the end. So here we have 24 times 200, that should be 4800x minus 24 squared, that should be 576 for that value, right? Okay, so I made a mistake here. Let me explain. The mistake I made here was I took the area of both triangle. It should be just one of them, so I should have taken just the area of the cross surface is just 12, not 24. That's a very silly mistake, as you can see. So let me try that again. So this is not right, not right. So 12 times 200, that should be 24, minus 12 times 24 should be 288x cubed. Here we have x, we're missing, divide by 10. So finally we confirm that V has to be 240, 10 will cancel out, x, minus 28.8x cubed. That is the volume of the prism. Now let's move on to part 3 of the question. We have to find the value of x for which V has a stationary value. Again, when this happens, we know dV by dx have to be 0. So let's find out. dV by dx have to be 240 minus 3 times 3 times 28.8, that should be 86.4, that should be x squared. Equate that to 0. You will have 86.4x squared is 240. Now x squared is what? 240 divided by 86.4. 7 over 9. X will be, with our answer, that should be 1, 2 over 3, which is 1 times 3 is 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 over 3. So the value of x for which we have this, it will be this. Now, last one, we have to find the nature of the value. We have to find d2v by dx2. So re-differentiate that again. This will become 0, become 2 times 86.4, that should be 172.8x. But again, this is a negative value. So you would say, since it is negative, we confirm that it will be a maximum value. So since it is negative, it will be a maximum value. So that will be a question in relation to differentiation. Okay, so let's move on to this question. The function f is defined by f of x equal to this. Now x can take any values, that is great. Part 1, we have to find a set of values of x for which this is true. So pretty easy. We have x squared minus 3x more than 4. Send this over here, you have x squared minus 3x minus 4 is more than 0. Again, we have seen this kind of question many times. We just have to first find the critical values. We factorize. That will be x 4 times 1. To get minus 3, we have to have minus 4 plus 1. X will be minus 1, x will be 4. Again, these are the critical values. These are not your answer yet. We have to use the graph. The shape here is 1, right? It is in this shape. Minus 1, this has to be 4. This is the line 0. Now we need the values to be more than 0, have to be over here and over here. So the values of x could be, x have to be less than minus 1, x have to be more than 4. So these are the set of values of x for which that is possible. That is part 1 of the question. Again, these questions, we have seen this many times before in ADMath. Now let's move on to part 2. Express f of x in the form of this, stating the values of a and b. So pretty easy, one by one, step by step. So at first we have x squared minus 3x. So after we confirm the coefficient of x squared is 1, we move to the next step, which is we write this down, same thing. Then we have to add something. We add the value here, which is just 3, divided by 2 square. Now when you add something, you also have to minus the same thing, so you don't change the equation. That will be the same thing. Right. Now for this one, this can be simplified. It will become, here we have x, that will be x. Here we have minus, that will be minus. Here we have 1.5. And here we have square. Here we have minus 1.5 square. What is 1.5 square? You will have what? 2.25. So here it is x minus 1.5 square minus 2.25. So now by comparison, x minus a square minus b. So from this you can see a have to be 1.5 and b have to be 2.25. That is part 2 of the question. Now for part 3, write down the range of f. The range are the y values of f, so we kind of have to know an idea what is the shape of the curve. Now again, the reason why the question was asked after this one, it usually means we can use this one to find the answer. So we kind of have to know that the value here at the end here is your minimum value. So here we have minus 2.25 as the minimum value here. The shape of the graph is what? It is something like this. So the graph will be something like this. Now the shape of the graph, the range obviously will be always more or equal to this value. So y have to be more or equal to the value of minus 2.25. Now this is done for the range. The range has to be more than this value. Again, we have to use the previous one. We don't have to, but the reason why we use it is because it is just helpful, right? Now again, always when you have your equation expressed in this form, the value at the end is the minimum or the maximum value. Now because we know that the shape of this graph is a minimum curve, the value at the end will be a minimum value. The shape is something like this, and this value is the value that we have here at the end, and we know this will always be going up from this point, and that will be my range for that function f. Now part 4, state with reason whether f has an inverse or not. Obviously it does not have an inverse because it is not a one-to-one function. So what does that mean? If I were to draw a line here, it meets at 2 points. Because of that, it is not a one-to-one function. So you can say no, not one-to-one function. It is only one mark. Okay, now let's move on to the last question. So we are given that g of x is equal to this. Great. We have to solve this equation. So here we have x minus 3 root of x is equal to 10. So let's try to solve this equation. So we have to know something here. What is x root of x? It is x power half, right? Something we can do is that to eliminate this thing, or we can just think of something else. So let's try to make this first. Let's send this over here, or we can just replace it. Honestly, we can do many things. Let me just make this easier for you. Let u equal to this. How about this? Much easier for you, right? Now what is x? X is simply x half 2, right? Now this is u now. That will be u squared minus 3u minus 10 is 0. Now you can see this is much easier to solve. So we can just factorize u and u. That should be 5 times 2 for 10. Minus 3 should be minus 5 plus 2. Finally, u will be the value of 5 and u will be the value of minus 2. But now again, we're not trying to find the value of u, we're trying to find the value of x. That will be x half will be 5, x half will be minus 2. So this half, so we have to square both sides. You will have the x, that will be 25. X will be the value of 4. This is the values of x that we have for this equation. Now before we wrap up this question, I did realize there's a mistake here as well. You can see this. X power half is root of x is equal to minus 2, which is simply not possible. Root of something cannot be minus 2, at least not here. So this answer will not be taken seriously. So we'll have only one value here, x equal to 25 will be the answer of the question. And that will be a question in relation to functions.